is Margaret Lenker here, walking out the doors of the Education Center for the Norris Theater for the very first time here at the open house. Let's go see what all the supporters and children have to say. Both of you have been working so hard to get this ready for today. Can you talk about your efforts?
Well, it's been a mighty struggle. This has been a building that's been years in the making, even long before we got here. And although we've been doing a lot of the work, there's also been a very dedicated team of board members and volunteers and staff that has been putting this together. Dick and Joan Moe spearheaded the effort, as they did with the pavilion about 10 years ago. And then their daughter Julie and her husband John have been literally on their hands and knees, laying brickwork, picking out furniture, getting the paint done. So it's been a group effort. So it's been a lot of work, but it's really been worth it.
And we should say that the kids have been so patient too, because they've been wanting this, and their parents have been wanting this for so long, and they've had to be sent off to other buildings while this got prepared and going back and forth, and they've been so patient, and now they're so excited, and nothing could make us happier than that.
Oh, how does it feel to finally see it completed?
Oh, it's so nice. I mean, we've had the vision of it for quite some time, but the best part is watching the kids come into the building for the first time. And our instructors have even told us that as they've taught classes here, the kids are acting more professional and they're more focused. So you can tell that it's really having an effect on them. And that's the best feeling for me.
I think, and really for the kids, you know, since the department began, they've been in 3 different locations all around the shopping mall, and just to have one building that they can call home. And as she said, when they walk in and their eyes get so big and they know this is for them, and that's just a wonderful feeling to see.
What is the first production you guys are working on in this building?
Well, it's Seussical the Musical is what's happening right now. You can actually hear the kids rehearsing in the background, and we're going to have them perform the opening number for us today. We have 36 kids in the cast, and they're all so talented. We have so many triple threats here at the singing, dancing, acting. You want to talk a little bit more about Seussical?
Sure. It's all the works of Dr. Seuss. So you have Horton the Elephant and the Cat in the Hat and Gertrude McFuzz, and they've tied all their stories together into a musical. It played on Broadway about 10 years ago. It's just a lot of fun for the whole family. It's really catchy music, and the kids love doing it. It's a lot of dancing and singing for them.
How excited are you guys to be working in this new building?
It's really great because we used to have 3 different buildings, so it was really hard to go to different classes when you have 3 buildings to choose from. And it's a really great facility because we have these big dance rooms, and this one is actually the same size as the Norris Theater stage. So it's a really great, for rehearsing for shows like this.
Exactly what she said. Since it's the size of the Norris stage, we were used to, for the other buildings like the Village, the dance room was really small and it was a really small space. So it's hard to have a whole cast of 40 people in one room, and it would get loud and it would smell. And so now it's we have these different rooms, and this one being the size of the Norris stage, we can actually work out formations and stuff being equal to the Norris, so we don't have to completely change our formations. So it's really convenient.
Yeah, that's nice. I remember I'm in dance, and we practice, and then we go on stage, and it's completely different because we have so much more room and we have to spread out. What shows have you been in at the Norris?
Seussical is going to be my 9th show. My first show was Music Man. I did Peter Pan, Dear Edwina, Bye Bye Birdie, Honk, Much Ado About Nothing, and a few other shows.
Seussical will be my 29th show at the Norris, so there's a long list. But this is my 2nd time doing Seussical. So,
do you have the same part, or do you have a different part than before?
I have a different part. I was the young kangaroo, and now I am a bird girl, the Maisie understudy, and dance captain, and the marshal.
What is your favorite room here at the new building?
We haven't really got to use it yet, but we have a really cool looking green room with funky furniture and a microwave, so it's very nice. Aside from that, definitely I love the dance rooms because they're so nice.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sorry, the green room just looks fantastic. We didn't have a green room in the other rooms, in the other buildings. We did at the Norris, but that's different. And then obviously the dance room, because we both love to dance, so this is fantastic just having this.
And how long have you been dancing and acting for?
I've been dancing since I was really little, like 3 years old, but I didn't come to the Norris till like 2009, and I didn't really start acting till I was like 9, but I really like it.
I started dancing when I was like 3 too, but I didn't get into musical theater until I was 6, and that all started here at the Norris.
Welcome to the Norris Center's Education Building. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I am Jim Gruessing. I'm the Executive Director of the Norris Center for the Performing Arts. We're so glad at this wonderful turnout. A big thank you to the Palos Verdes Peninsula Chamber of Commerce for helping us out today. I would also like to recognize John Adelman, who's a councilman and former mayor who's with us this afternoon. John, thank you so much for being here. John was instrumental in us getting a name change last year to Norris Center Drive, so we thank him a lot for that as well. Thank you, John. You know, this program has been such an integral part of what we do at the Norris Center for the Performing Arts, and we're so happy to finally have a dedicated home that the children and students of the Norris Center can call their own. It's through the generous support of community members, donors, board members, and everyone coming together to make this wonderful dream a reality, and we thank each and every one of you who has given time, talent, and treasure to this wonderful endeavor, so thank you very much.
And thank you all again for coming. And I got a little bit of a surprise just a few minutes ago. I was handed this, and I just want to read it. County of Los Angeles, Norris Center for the Performing Arts, ribbon cutting ceremony. With sincere congratulations and best wishes, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles does hereby join you in your celebration. Don Kanabe. He's got a big supporter. We really appreciate that. Well, when I took over as the president, I think it was in August of this year, the building was kind of, you know, was cement and there were things all over the place and we were kind of stuck in the rut. And I said, gee, I wonder who I should call. So I called Dick Moe. And Dick came in and I'm telling you, he took over. So I would like Dick to come up. Come on up here, Dick.
No, I'm very pleased at how this has come together. 10th of September, Dave came in and said, you know, we're going to borrow some money from the endowment fund so you can get going and build this building. Would you be willing to take over and finish it? Actually started. And I said, well, I looked around, I couldn't see anybody else in the audience that was willing to do it. And having had some experience in building the pavilion, I thought, I think I can do this. I said, well, plan on having classes there in the middle of January. We'll be through in 4 months. And everybody said, yeah. Anyhow, guess what happened in the middle of January? First classes were held in the building. They also set up a budget for me to operate to, and I said, well, I can tell you this, I'll do it as reasonably priced as I possibly can and have it still look nice. But you can all be proud of it. And I underran the budget. You don't hear much about that, but frankly, when I was in aerospace, I always underrun my budget too, because it's much more successful to do that. But you have to work a little harder sometimes. But so I'm really proud of what this is, and I think, as somebody said the other night, seems like the Moes have to build a new building every 15 years. And, and you know, in 1983 we opened a theater, which was Joan's idea, by the way, and we Joan Moe, that is. Raise your hand, Joan. Somebody must know you. So it started from very deep things, and we used to go on to high school plays at Maryland, PV High, and Peninsula, and the performances were so good. Joan says, you know, these kids need a better place to perform than in a multi-purpose room. We need a theater on this hill. That was 1977. And so we went on from there. And I went to a cocktail party after an FC football game one afternoon.
She was 21 then, wasn't she?
Yeah. And I met Ken Norris. He was telling how he was trying to give some money to Long Beach to name the theater after him, and he would fund the theater. So a few months later, we decided we needed somebody to fund the theater. I said, let's go to Ken Norris and see him. So Ken Norris gave us $1 million. We put his name in a theater. And then about a few years later, in that 10 or so, Joan said, Dick, you got to get on the board, because I had just retired from TRW. And so I said, well, okay. 2 years later, I was chairman of the board, and I said, you know, we don't have enough room for performance of our kids here. We've got to build another building. So I asked permission, Dave Diestel was chairman of the board at the time, asked permission to build a pavilion. And the board says, okay, you can do it, Dick. They didn't say they would help do it. And he said, but make sure, right now we have to raise $500,000 every year to keep the theater going. We can't raise more than that. You got to make it self-supporting to some extent. So we designed it, built it to be a rental facility as well as education facility. And now we hardly have any room for, we didn't have enough room for all the classes even then, so we rented a couple of places over near the library and another one in the shops here. And kept those going, and this was too convoluted to have all these 3 different places for kids to go to classes, so in fact 4 including the theater. So we decided we need another building. They said, what else would you do, Dick, if you, as well, I'm too old for it, but I think we need another building just for education. So the powers that be went out and contacted and obtained this building, and after 2 years trying to raise money to construct it, we didn't do very well. And that's when Dave came on board and said, why don't we give him some money from the endowment fund so he can finish this job, because we're paying rent on it anyhow. It'd be nice to get something back. So that's a long story that you never wanted to hear, perhaps. But so that's when he turned to me and says, can you do this? I says, I guess so. I wasn't really awfully enthusiastic, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been very rewarding. Met an awful lot of nice people. A lot of people coming up and handed last night. First gave me a check for $2,000. We got to help in a building like this. Now I'm looking for the $100,000. And we'll go out and get that too, because we need it. We need it going, and it's going to be very hard to make enough money to keep this building going on its own. It will take contributions every year from a lot of people to make that happen. But we have many sources for that, and it's going to go well. And I'm particularly proud of my daughter, who is an artist, and her friend Abby, who is interior decorator, recognized interior decorator for the great job that she has been doing. So the two of them, as you know, I don't know a lot about colors. I do know the difference between orange and blue, although Dave doesn't. I got back to him. He said I didn't last night. Anyhow, and so I asked them to take care of all the coloring and the internal designs, and they did a terrific job. And in fact, you look at all this flooring all the way around here, like the squares this big, takes 35 hits of a hammer to set this. And the Moe family did that. We have 3 grandsons. John Reynolds picked out the designs and got the stuff here, and his 2 boys, and Steve, my son. Steve, John isn't here, he's out with my son is Steve Moe. Raise your hand, Steve. He works, I'm really proud of my family and doing a nice job here. Thank you for all supporting us.